try it again. Hey, people. Try again. Take 55. November 3rd, 2021. Hey, people. Yeah, it's me, Guy Meyer, here, from reporting from San Anselmo, the California Times Miracle Blog. We call it the Miracle Blog because we need a miracle here in Guy's blog world, seen by at least 3 people every darn time. Let's jump right into Wednesday. I've been away from making these because I got caught up in trying to do something else that's mystically interesting. Sundays are for horses. Oh, don't squint, Guy. Anyways, this event happened in Creek Park. I'd like to tell you what a huge success it was. And it was in so many beautiful ways, maybe the most important ways. People had fun and the music was brilliant. And we didn't call it off. We compromised because it was semi-rainy that day. And Nicole and Daniel were awesome. And I guess I'm going to bring it back. I mean, I believe that, yes. Oh, brother. Can I just edit Al waffling out? No more waffling, Guy. Yeah, it'll happen again on Sunday. I want everybody to come down. I don't even know who's going to be playing. All right. So after working 2 days at the bagel shop, which I hold down a day job, Mondays and Tuesdays, which kind of interferes with getting a good start on Monday. So here I am, Wednesday, back at it. Let's jump into it, Guy. Bought a couple of newspapers while I was doing some laundry. The old bachelor doing his own laundry. Well, wait a minute, Guy. Would you mean to say you'd find a wife just to help you do the laundry? That sounds shocking, primitive, primal. Ah, God, there's no hope. Sundays are for horses. Let me explain some of the principles here. The Sundays, the R for horses. It's like a pipe dream. It's okay. It's like, what about traditions? What about horses? Could they be part of communities again in the future in America? Is there a place for us to slow down? Is there a place for us to design progress for humans? I think having horses in a community is incredible. Not every community, maybe obviously, but particularly in California, it's awesome. And notice that little R4 that my buddy Hugh down in Australia did upon my recommendation that he try that. The R4, I think, to me goes back to Gary Snyder, a hero of mine from years back, poet and environmentalist, and his proposal for 4 changes. He wrote this in 1965 to help us address the climate crisis, the planetary ecology crisis that was evident in 1965 for anybody with their eyes open. As a matter of fact, there was a fascinating book written in 1967 called The Destruction of California that got a lot of press. It was a good book, all forgotten, of course, all forgotten as we just keep writing progress further and further along. So I see in the front page of the New York Times, Election Day 2021, we have conservative victories, it seems to me, from what I gather, in Virginia, Minnesota overturning the police thing, New York City. I'm under the impression that the new mayor is strongly supporting police. And that's my congratulations. I'm pleased that Mr. Youngkin won in Virginia. There's something fundamentally not getting to the roots of the problem with the modern Democratic Party and its moderate face of Joe Biden. I don't think they have a clue. Don't think they have a clue about hardly anything. And then the radical vision, I'm apparently in love with some Marx. I understand that the revolution, a change is so overdue. It's painful on this planet. Just really, it's tough that we haven't grasped so much. I'll throw out a quote here, a quote from Charles Dickens describing tourists of the 1850s and 1860s, marveling at what they destroy. It's not polite, apparently, to talk about people's lifestyles as a reason for our environmental issues. And I feel like I'm a real outsider, outlier, just not part of any, particularly, my herd is about one person. That's my herd. I don't know. And you don't have to follow me. I want everybody to be independent. But I mean, what if we really had a vision for a new indigenous culture? When I say throwing that word out, I mean like as if you and I, indigenous means of a place, the people of a place. It's a vision of going slow and a vision of not blaming others and a belief in ourselves. The four changes Gary Snyder was trying to present to the world in '65. I'll repeat them. The first problem is population. This was back when the world was like 3.5 billion. And he could see it, and I could see it. And by 1970, it was broadcast. I mean, it was the population bomb, all kinds of descriptions of what the world would look like in the year 2020. And it didn't look pretty. And the accuracy of the descriptions was almost common sense. If you continue this trend, we're going to be destroying ecology in vast levels. We're going to have mass migrations and disruptions. And the planet's going to be suffering, and our health is going to be suffering as a people and all the species. And I think Gary Snyder's proposals of the four changes are absolutely proper, I think, and powerful, and still waiting for us to adopt. Acknowledging overpopulation. The second one was pollution. What is the physical substances that we are entering into the bloodstream of a ecology that is biology, that is life on Earth, that is simply destructive, that does not have any positive it lends nothing to any life form. Plastic, this waste that we dump, and then all the myriad chemicals that are still being sold over the counter. I'm thinking of just go into any hardware store or supermarket or pharmacy. Still way too much. The Plasticine era, right? There was all the different scenes. And let's jump back into the news again. Nations cut deals to slash methane and save forests. Since I was talking, wait, I'm interrupting myself. The four changes: population. Just let's hand out condoms everywhere on the planet. I would put money in Trojan Incorporated, wherever they are, wherever their stock price. We just got to do something to like spread the word that it's okay. It's okay to have less children, have more fun, adopt. I think a lot of people have been into that for many years, but we gotta voice this. Pollution, still got a long ways to go. I'm amazed at how much plastic just got washed into the Pacific Ocean. I mean, the positive story was they're digging these piles up, and they've made some progress on learning how to do that. But I mean, I noticed my little San Anselmo Creek, and I know every creek and culvert in California with the detritus of people who do not have homes and all the plastic crap everywhere washed into the sea. Anyways, the nations cut the deals. Biden chides leaders of Russia and China. The EPA, Biden announced Tuesday, EPA is intending to limit the methane coming from about 1 million existing oil and gas rigs across the US. And I didn't even know there were 1 million, but I do know that we, as a planet, pumped 95 million barrels, 55 gallons to a barrel of oil out of the planet. And I guess conceivably throw that in a big old lake and metaphorically light a match every day, burn it up to fuel our lifestyle. Marveling at what we destroy. See, I'm jumping around because this is my brain. I don't write a script. Charles Dickens, tourists, marveling at what they destroy. Are we in that same zone? Do you know how far do you have to travel to see the beauty and the wonder of nature, and to have maybe a spiritual experience? I mean, are we still involved in that, marveling at what we destroy? Consumption. What didn't you buy today? Well, like I cut my fingers over the weekend, really annoying with the guitar thing. And I was looking at Band-Aids. I mean, I'm a nut, all right? And I was going to buy some Band-Aids, but you know, I could use duct tape around my fingers. And come on, guy, you don't really even need the Band-Aids. Global Methane Pledge, a commitment to reduce methane emissions 30% by 2030, including half of the world's top 30 methane emitting countries. That they expected the list to grow. Well, it sounds good, and every little thing helps. And I think it's there. I'm not saying that this is like somehow a bad thing to do in any level. Cut the methane. So I guess they're talking most directly about 1 million existing oil and gas rigs. And even though China, Russia, Australia, and India didn't take part in it, they also mentioned that methane is produced from oil and natural gas operations, livestock, and landfills. When's the last time anybody's taken a good look at the Marin County landfill? Well, where does Manhattan dump its landfill? And why do we have to, why so much garbage? Four changes. Sundays are for horses and good music. Population. Beautiful. Bring it down. It's the most natural rebellion in the world. Wall Street will start screaming like the Wicked Witch, I'm melting. They need more bodies year after year after year. And we can do something about that. And I don't mean don't have fun. I mean have fun all life long. Come on, guy. I do try to have fun in my own way. COVID. Panel vote means children 5 to 11 could get a shot this week. Wow. New York Times, first paragraph. Scientific advisors to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on Tuesday unanimously endorsed the Pfizer-BioNTech coronavirus for children aged 5 through 11. a move that will buttress defenses against a possible surge as winter arrives and ease the worries of tens of millions of pandemic-weary parents. And that's the opening paragraph of the story by Apurva Mandavili. The good news, the punchline there is ease the worries of 10 millions of pandemic-weary parents. But a lot of parents are going to worry. Children 5 to 11, what level of susceptibility were they to this virus? Later in the story, about 3 in 10 parents say they will definitely not get the vaccine for their 5 to 11-year-old. Well, I guess of those millions, that's not going to ease their worries. About 3 in 10 parents said they would immunize their children right away, a percentage that has barely budged since similar polls in July and September. 3 in 10, 3 in 10, that's 6. So at least 4 in 10 who are scratching their heads still trying to figure out what are the risks? Where is the factual basis of anything? Where is the real information? Well, they give you some stuff, but they still don't tell you of the, where is it? Since the beginning of the pandemic, more than 8,300 children ages 5 to 11 have been hospitalized with COVID, and at least 94 have died. 1/3 of the hospitalized children were sick enough to be admitted to the ICU. Okay, so 1/3 of it. But what about comorbidities? Who are these children? It's a small percentage. I'll read a little bit I wrote about the COVID thing. This is while I was traveling on the train a month or two ago, coming back from, where was I going to? On the Amtrak train, where I'd love to be. Where are we going with understanding to prevent this disease? Vaccines prevent hospitalization and death. That seem to do that. I agree with that statement. I accept this as it is so far. However, where we are now is not where we were 6 months ago, nor where we will be 6 months from now. I choose to not go the route of vaccination. What is the combination of the novel virus and the novel vaccine? Is the data all in? Has nature voted and the polling has been closed? The vaccine has won in a landslide? Or are we still watching and observing a very fluid interaction that will fully reveal itself only in time? We can look at a few more facts. We had I made a note here, the Walensky quote. The Walensky quote was basically that there is no scientific evidence that an unvaccinated person spreads the disease any more than an unvaccinated person. No scientific evidence. That was a Walensky quote. Find it from July 23rd. New York Times, comorbidity, still not fully revealed in terms of the mortality and the hospitalization, so we don't want to offend people. Somewhere between 35% or 32% and 40% of Americans suffer from obesity. The median death age for COVID-19, I believe, is pretty close to 80. And what about compassion? Aren't you a compassionate guy? Aren't you? How can you be so cruel? Well, again, vaccinated people can spread the disease just as unvaccinated. Just recently, just today, earlier looking at 1 million breakthrough cases. And of course, a lot more of unvaccinated, but maybe then getting the natural immunity from getting the disease naturally is better for the species in general. Comparative compassion. So what if the compassion of, what if the damage, am I allowed to speculate? We need to get a booster every 6 months. The efficacy drops from 90% to 50%, I guess, in about that sixth time. Where will a mutation come from? Will it come from somebody whose body doesn't put up any resistance and the vaccine has its way with them, an unvaccinated person? Or will the mutation be encouraged like the antibiotic resistant viruses these days, or the herbicides that create a superweed? What is going to lead to, what leads to a better outcome? Is your compassion superior than my compassion because it's endorsed by some authorities? What about the precaution principle? What did that mean? I don't know. It was something from environmentalists a few years back, the precaution principle. And what about the thousands and thousands of lives who have been lost because we do still not know yet what is the best ways of treating people who've got this disease? And what if this push to vaccinate as the end-all, save-all remedy is blinding us from properly addressing potentially simple treatments? For instance, the antibody, the monoclonals, quote Fauci, they are a much underutilized intervention. These, what do they call it? Monoclonal antibodies that the Governor DeSantis in Florida made available to all his citizens in Florida, that if somebody takes it, it's like a 70% chance of like our effectiveness in stopping the spread of COVID or preventing it from getting worse. A Dr. Daniel Griffin is quoted as saying, monoclonals never did seem to get the press that their effectiveness should warrant. Fauci said, a much underutilized intervention. Why is it underutilized? Why is it not even known? And then there's ivermectin. But I'm going to say that we have to discover our good health, and the older we get, it's not easy. We have to keep pushing forward. We have to walk. We all have to learn to walk. Obesity should not be in our playbook as Americans. It's part of a liberation that we need to take care of our bodies. And we need to restore the right for human beings to make their decisions, the right to have even erroneous opinions about things. It's all right. The truth. Oh, here's a good quote. John Milton. I don't even know who John Milton was. It's one of these ancient Englishmen. Wrote romantic poetry back in the 17th century. Maybe it was the 18th century. And though all the winds of doctrine were let loose to play upon the earth, so truth be in the field, we do injuriously by licensing and prohibiting to misdoubt her strength. Let her and falsehood grapple. Whoever knew truth put to the worse in a free and open encounter. You get some of that? All the winds of doctrine were let loose. All whatever your philosophy, whatever your perspective, let loose to play upon the earth. But if truth is in the field, we injure her by licensing and prohibiting, to misdoubt her strength, that being the strength of truth. Don't doubt it. This is the foundations of America. That's why the First Amendment is there, freedom of speech. Let her and falsehood grapple. Whoever knew truth to be put to the worse in a free and open encounter. So I'm reading this book about JFK again. I'll always be reading that. I don't know. There were a bunch of other things of much greater importance to talk about today. And I hope to have some good friends to be talking again with soon. And hey, I know I'm long-winded and it's not easy to, I don't know. If you made it through this, would you do me a favor and put a like on my YouTube thing? Is there some value, some mystery, something, just because there's somebody saying something that challenges us? All right. I do need support here from any of you. It'd be wonderful. Thank you. Bye-bye.